Hello there everybody, welcome back to the Groundswell Ecosystems YouTube channel. I'm Nicola Kench and this is Project Alteration, Ultimate Home Couture. Slow down fast fashion, covet what you own, make the ordinary extraordinary and glam it up for Mother Earth. I just want to say thank you to all the new subscribers. Just hand movements. Jazz hands. I just want to say thank you to all the new subscribers. What you do is you press subscribe, like, share, press the notifications bell, and you'll see all emerging content as it gets snatched out of the scramble that is my mind and into YouTube reality. Yes. Today I'm continuing with the QuickSew series, how to get stuff done with absolutely nothing. In other words, how to fix stuff, change stuff, make stuff, change things into another level of stuff without a sewing machine. How do we do things by hand? How do we remove all barriers to entry and still create stuff that is actually sturdy, works, and can be done quite quickly? All right, what I have behind me ta-da! I feel quite sort of like, you know that program Versailles? I feel a bit Versailles about this because it's the linens, you know, the linens. Anyhow, linens in previous centuries were considered, all the manufacture of cloth, because it was highly labor intensive, was considered to be, you know, a product of high value. All of your linens were part of your wealth, part of your ownership. But anyhow, I'm feeling a bit like that now, all right? These are my linens. And what they are, as a matter of fact, are a collection of my nightwear. All right. Now, I am a person who has very old-fashioned feelings about nightwear. Again, I repeat, there is nothing like coming home at the end of a long day, oh, sweaty Betty, having a shower and getting to something that is cool and just feels perfect. All right. So what I did here is I had some dresses. I was running out of various bits of nightwear, as you do. So I chopped them up, did this and that, hand sewed them up, and bang, they were ready in 3 seconds flat as some more of my linens. Whether or not I own a castle, I do own linens. So what I want to do today is take this. I'm actually going to come close to the camera with this. Now you might think, what is she doing with that nonsense chiffon number in the first place? Well, I like it, but I want to actually hack it up so that it's user-friendly for summer. It came with all these kind of endless sleeves and everything, and I was like, sorry, that's not going to happen. Honestly, that really isn't going to happen. It felt a bit sort of ceremonial, a bit kind of ridiculous. So I wanted to make something which is super light. I can wear over leggings in summer, etc., etc., etc. Now I'm going to come close to the screen. There you go. Right up to the screen. I do love the pattern. All right, there you go, all the way back. Oops! There you go. Yeah, all the way back. Hello, Narnia. All the way back. And what you see is obviously it's a full-length dress. No. Enough. I shall not traipse around anymore. All right. I'm going to chop it off at the knee, and at the sleeves here, what I want to do is I've chopped them off. I went at them with a pair of scissors. Is I want to fix these so that they are actually, you know, seamed off at the edges. So this is what I'm going to be doing today. Go closer. There you go. I'm going to be repeating the process that I did on here, on this little numero. Quick sticks minus a sewing machine. The original technology, the human hand. So I'm just panning along in more detail to show you a little bit more about this QuickSew alterations technique that I used. Here in the sleeves, in the armholes of my linens, aka my nightwear, I just chopped off the sleeves and then went at them with some nice bright double knit thread, some yarn, knitting wool, and a nice big needle, and just sewed them over, and they were done. All the way down. Here we go. Same thing on the hem. Am I ever going to reach the hem? Same thing on the hem. There you go. Very, very, very easy. Now there's this myth All right, that fabric, if it's just, you know, cut or torn off, is going to, in fact, dissolve. Not the case at all. It's very, very hardy. So there you go. Cut and just sew, 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 sew. Just like the other video with quick darning. I'm just going to quickly pan over to the little chiffon number. And there we go. All right, there are the sleeves. Obviously what I want to do there, I've just hacked them off. I've made free with a pair of scissors. And I want them to be sewn in. Just go all the way down. And I don't want it as long. I want it knee length. So I'm going to be cutting it off. All right, and doing that quick alterations technique of just sew, sew, sew over by hand with the lovely double knit yarn on a thick needle. Okay, hi there. Now what I have is I have the armhole of the dress. What I'm going to be doing here, simply to create a hand sewn edge, just like I showed you on the nightwear, on the linens, okay, is I'm going to take a little bit of this very basic double knit acrylic yarn. You can get them all over the place. I've chosen this in this kind of slightly glittery sort of beige color. Right, I'm going to cut a bit of that, make it all ready. There we go. Thread it on my needle, which is actually, I'm sure I've shown you this before. This is actually, I'm trying to bring it up to focus. It is a tapestry needle with a sharp end and a nice big eye. There you go. Let me thread this. I'm going to do it double. Right, so it's got a bit of thickness to it. Go all the way down to the end. Right. Just give it a knot, just a simple knot at the end. You can sew those ends. You can just sew those ends as you go around. Okay, right, there we go. In fact, let me just quickly bring this edge up because it does make it clearer. Right, here, all that I did is I literally just chopped off the sleeves, rolled that over, and just sewed it like that, super, super, super quickly with the acrylic double knitting yarn and a nice tapestry needle, as I've just shown you, just like I did the quick darning. This is quick alterations. Right, so there we go. There's the wool. Here is the armhole. Okay, and of course they're different techniques. Let me just quickly bring this one up, actually. You can go for something which is far more contrasting, a little bit of the silly. All right, I'm still an admirer of all things neon. I've never come to terms. You can go with something which is a little bit of the silly. All right, so there's some bright neon which I put around there, hem the bottom, all right, and it just creates that kind of sweet effect. Right, there we go. So what we're doing is we're sorting out this armhole for this chiffon number. So I'm going to fold this over, roll it over a little bit at the shoulder, just pin it. Right, really quite rough. I have cut into it. Let me show you how I do that. I just snip into it so it's got a little bit of give when I'm rolling it over. Roll over here. Really easy, really simple. Roll over again. Right, I'm just preparing that for when I sew. Honestly, you can do this to t-shirts, you can do this to anything. Right, whoever you are, whatever you wear, you can absolutely mess around with things in this way. It's just my favorite way of doing things, which, as I said, I call quick sew. You get rid of the sewing machine and you just quickly alter things. Right, so there we go. So I've prepared that sleeve where I'm going to sew it. Right, I've got the wool and the tapestry needle. Let me just put it in here, and I'm just going to create that edge. Right, there you go. I'm going to sew that edge in as I sew. Let me take that close, and I literally just do the most basic, proper, like, I mean, no disrespect, but proper, like Neanderthal in the cave with, like, the boots and little, like, sorry, I love all of that stuff, with the waistcoat and, like, in the cave and everything like that. Very much like that vibe. All right, as I said, they were practicing glamour eons ago. They found rock jewelry. Shouldn't come as a surprise. So there you go. I'm just sewing over the edge. Let me just do a bit more. As I said in my other video, I do find hand sewing, for some obscure reason, insanely therapeutic. I've always loved doing it. There you go. Let me take that right close up to the camera. I want to make sure that that's focused. You see how it's literally just sewing over the edge, and I think it creates a really funky effect. It's something I'd really like to see even on, I think I might go and experiment with that, actually go get a jacket and chop it up a bit and do some stuff on it as well. Right, so I'm just following the curve here. There you go. Right, super quick without a sewing machine, literally giant stitches. Double knit yarn right along the edge like that, super quick, just scrunching it all up, and it'll be perfectly secure. Right, keep going. I'll cut that stuff off later, that's not a problem. Right, I just want to finish this side so you can see what it looks like. Imagine if you had a jacket and you wanted to turn that jacket into, for example, a waistcoat or something, or change the length on it. Literally, you could cut it and like radically quickly alter it by hand sewing with whatever color wool you wanted. And you could actually have something which I think could be really, again, lovely and possibly even hyper funky, which is French for hyper funky. Right, there we go. Okay, let me just keep going. Super simple. Obviously what I'm going to do with the length is I'm going to chop it off. I'm going to try it on and chop it off at the right length for myself. Please be aware that when you do this technique by hand and you are hemming, you will have to add on about an inch in imperial, about 2 centimeters in metric in terms of extra fabric, because you will be slightly rolling it up or folding it up as you go along. Let me go there. There you go. There's the edge. Stretch it out a bit. There you go. There's the edge. All done. Super, super, super quick. Now I'm going to do the same with the hem and the rest of the dress. I'm going to do the other sleeves. Excellent. See you later. Alligator. Right, so there you go. That is what the sleeve looks like. I've used, with these kind of light and green colours, I've used a sort of beige glittery one, and I've just done that really quickly along the sleeve. I'm just panning right down now, and I'm going to go and do what you see there is the hem, as I'm going to go and test the length right now, cut it off and do the hem ASAP. Just a quick word here, this is like handheld, about cutting the hem. I have actually just pinned it over there. What I do to try and get evenness across the whole bottom end is I literally just fold it all up and cut right through all together, and it makes life a lot easier. I'm going to do this as an action shot. There we go. Just going all the way through, and then I fold that over to that side, and it makes it more even. There you go. Right. Okay, I'll test that on myself, obviously. Right, there you go. I've done all of the alterations. I've done the sleeves. I actually just did the same technique down the front. It didn't need to because I wasn't cutting anything off, but I wanted to. It's got these outer panels on the front. I did the same thing around them, just to achieve the consistency with the design addition. And then of course I just hemmed the bottom edge with literally this wool, which is double knit wool with a nice thick needle. There you go. I'm just going to finish off the last section to show you how I did that, just by way of detail. But there you go. All of that was done without a sewing machine. Of course, it took slightly longer because I put on the additional bits in terms of around the neck and down the front, but super, super, super easy to do. There you go. Right. Okay, so I've got the wool All right, I've just put a knot in the end, and I'm just going to show you how I did the hemming here. I folded that over, put quite a lot of wide, there's still quite a bit of wide fold over there, because I'm going to cut it off afterwards. Now here, in terms of sewing, just put in those little bits there, the extra bits, I sew them down. All right, I sew them down in the oopsie, did that one too tight. I sew them down, okay, as I sew along. Right. There you go. Just even that out as I go. Just wanted to show you that again. Right. Keep it in the frame. Right, there you go. Just even it out as you go. I've done double bits of the wool. Just keep on going. I'm going to go to the end there, and then I'm going to show you cutting off on the other side. It makes it really easy to do if you can just leave a little bit of extra like that. There you go. At the end, I just double knot it like that. I double stitch over it and then push the remainder of the wool into the seam to hide it. There you go. Well, I don't want it just hanging off. There you go. Cut that off. And now what I have is I have the excess on the hem. I left this little bit just to show you. Now you're going to be careful when you cut that, right? Because obviously you don't want to cut into the main body of the fabric or the garment. Okay, so I'm going to go along the edge here. There you go. Cutting off the edges on the inside. Right, so you basically can just fold over as much as you need, and then you can cut off afterwards. It makes it easier to kind of control the edge that you want. Right, and obviously I did iron that, and I did pin it. Says she. I did. I did. It wasn't totally wild. There you go. Okay. Et voilà. Zut alors. Okay. Et voilà. Just trimming that off. Of course, I have ironed that as well. There you go. There you go. Very, very, very easy, very quick to do, and you can make some quite radical and convenient alterations just by hand, quite quickly without a sewing machine. There you go. What I wanted to quickly show you here again, because I did reference it just briefly earlier on, was the type of wool that I use for quick alterations like this. What you see here is top value double knitting. It's quite a thin wool. It's very easy to put it in on a tapestry needle like that. That's my tapestry needle with the big eye and the sharp ends so I can get through any fabric. And this is double knitting. Now I adore these because you can get these. I'm going to display all the pinks up to the screen, all right? Because you can get these in unbelievably myriad gorgeous colors. They're super cheap. You can get them online, get them on eBay. One is going to last you forever if you are going to use it for darning purposes. I also embroider with them, believe it or not. Chunky, simple embroidery. Right, there you go. And they can be obviously toned, and that's the one that I use. There's a bit of glitter there, blah, blah. It's all good. Love a bit of glitter. Can't disrespect a bit of glitter. Right, there we go. Top value, and it is top value. That happens to be a James C. Brett one, but double knitting all over the place. Very, very, very easy to find. That happens to be a James C. Brett one, the infamous, the mysterious James C. Brett. I honestly once messaged him on Instagram. I said, "Are you real?" He said, "Yes, but he's camera shy. He's the man behind the magic." It's a great brand, James C. Brett. They're one of my favorite. Anyhow, so there you go. Top value double knitting. That's what it is. It's acrylic. Super useful and super available. There you go. Right. There you go. That's just a reminder of the demos, the linens that I started with, and going up to what I've done here, which is to shorten this dress and to take off the sleeves. Let me just pan back so that you can see that. There you go. And of course, next thing I shall put it on. There you go, everybody. I'm actually sporting this with a very, very favoured ancient embroidered cardigan that I actually have just altered to increase. There you go. There is this dress which I've chopped the length off and I chopped the sleeves off of. I think it's somewhat, you know, nymphet barbecue. But you know, it is what it is. Thank you for watching. I'm Nicola Kench. This is Project Alteration on the Groundswell Ecosystems YouTube channel. Project Alteration, Ultimate Home Couture. Slow down fast fashion. Covet what you own. Make the ordinary extraordinary and glam it up for Mother Earth. Obviously the idea here is about sustainability. You don't need to keep on buying. You need to make what you own better for yourself. Make it bespoke, make it tailor-made for you. Take something and make it something more. That's the task here. Thank you to new subscribers. Thank you for liking, sharing, subscribing. Hit the notifications bell to receive more content as my projects arise. Thank you for watching. I'm Nicola Kench, Groundswell Ecosystems, Project Alteration. See you soon, particularly with this whole QuickSew series. No barriers to entry. Get rid of the sewing machine. Ancient techniques, new results.